How did this book get on my radar? Who the hell told me about you? Hello, friends. I'm Kate, your autistic book reviewer, and today I'm here to talk to you about This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Motar. We have gotten to the part of the episode where I don't know how to pronounce anything. Thank God the characters are called Blue and Red in here. I think I can keep track of that and pull that off. But no guarantees. As usual, I will be doing this review in two parts. The first part will be spoiler-free, and if my spoiler-free review has convinced you to read the book, don't forget to use my bookshop.org link below in the show notes to buy your copy, because you are not buying on Amazon. You can support a local bookstore through them, and you help your favorite content creator keep the lights on by allowing me to get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. Then the second part of the review will have spoilers, and I will make sure to make it very clear when the spoilers are coming up. So then you can click away, ruin my metrics. It's okay. Read the book and then come back and finish the rest of my review. Okay, so what is this tiny little book that I chose to read? I have no idea how this got on my to be read. I have no idea who recommended it, where I heard it from, had no idea. And I'm kind of upset. To be honest, I'm very upset. I'm very upset that I spent valuable reading time on this book. Let me tell you a story. Okay, so the story is that I went to my library looking for Death of the Author. That's what I wanted to read. I wanted a sci-fi book on my shelf. I wanted a sci-fi book to read in August, and so I went looking for Death of an Author. My library said it had Death of an Author, but between clicking on the catalog at home to me going to pick up the book, someone else had picked up Death of the Author, and I was stranded with no idea what sci-fi book to read. So then I found this one on the shelf. It was on my list, don't worry. I didn't just randomly pick this on the shelf. This was on my list, and I was like, it's perfect. It's a small sci-fi book. It's time. I'll just knock this one off. Okay, so what is this book about? I'm going to start by asking, what was the point? What was the point of this book? Because if you ask me to give you the plot in my own words, or like a synopsis in my own words, I don't know what the point of this book was. What I understand is that there are essentially two sides of a war going back through the multiverses to tweak events to set them up better in the future and have certain things play out. And the story is like one person from each side, and they start communicating with each other through these letters. And so it's partly told through the letters and then partly told through their experience at the moment that they get the letter. Yeah. Let's get down to some numbers here. So I think this book is overhyped. Since reading it, I don't know if it's that ripple effect that they always say, once you buy your car, you see your car on the road everywhere. I don't know. But once I read this book, I was seeing it everywhere. So that to me tells me it's overhyped. And however I was like sent and influenced to read this book, you overhyped it. Would I recommend it? No. I don't know if anyone in my life who would want to read this book. Overall, my rating was a 2.3, and I think that the only reason that this is higher, like over a 2 rating, is the very fact alone that the setting was extremely cool. That is the only thing this book has going for it, is the setting, which is the idea of them traveling through multiverses, time, scenarios. There was great descriptions at all the time points and timelines that they were in. They spent time there. In the tiny little window that we spent in each of those moments, it was great, and there was history layered in there, and it was thought out, and it was definitely dense in those moments. And I did appreciate them. It was a nice change of pace and tone between all the letters and breaking up the letters, because I think if this book consisted just of the letters, 100%, would not have made it through. The rest of the numbers are characters were a 2, setting was a 4, like I said, the writing was a 2, the plot was a 3, themes were a 3, emotions were a 1, and my enjoyment was a 1. A lot of people talk about the emotional impact of this book, and it was not there for me. I felt nothing. I did read this book very quickly, I will say. I mean, the letters are just very easy to go through, and it was a very quick read, and it was only 200 something pages, I want to say, with pretty decently big writing. Well, yeah, almost, it was like just over 200 pages. I think that could have also been the downfall for me, is that this is not a binged book. Even though it is 200 pages, it is a novella. The print is generally on the bigger side. This is not a book you should binge. Don't be like me. Don't do it, because I think it ruined it for me. The downfall probably honestly exists in the idea of that there wasn't enough understanding of what was going on for me to be able to enjoy it. This feels light sci-fi. This feels like a literary book wrapped up in a sci-fi packaging to make non-literary people want to pick up and read it. Because you're honestly not here for the science side of the book. Every person that I have seen talk about this book, talk about it from a character emotional standpoint, the connection standpoint, their feelings standpoint. I wouldn't even say that they go into the philosophical questions that are posed in this book. There are a lot of philosophical questions posed in this book, but I'm not getting that either with people. I'm getting the connection between red and blue is what people are talking about. For me to have the connection between red and blue, I have to understand more of what's going on. How did we get the technology to be able to multiverse jump? There are so many questions alluded to about these people being maybe not 100% human, maybe not human at all. And I need to understand that. Like, what is our capacity to feel? What is our capacity to understand? Why are we fighting? Why do we change things and stop each other from changing things? Why are there two factions? Why is one of them more like a garden and one of them gave me very Matrix vibes as well? What is going on? And does this which yes, it does, because it is said for like 5 seconds, but super change who these people are to the point that like, what are they having to overcome to be able to understand each other's perspective? And how the fuck do they have the ability and the technology to write the letters the way that they did? Because these two people, things, entities, autonomous robots, I don't know, go about writing their letters in extremely weird and in different ways so that they are not caught. Like, not to spoil anything, but we get down to the point that they like freaking are writing them on seeds. An entire like 5-page letter on some seeds. Like, you lost me there. I walked away with nothing. I am an empty shell after this book. Could this book spark something in my head for the future? Yes. I have a story gaining skin in my house of horrors that I'm excited about. And I get a little bit of vibe from this book that could like water the ground slightly, but I wouldn't say this is inspiring me whatsoever. Maybe the reason I'm so mad about this book is the very fact that the idea, though not super original, we have two sides and two factions warring out, and then we have somebody from each side going, are you doing the right thing? Let me go talk to the other side. Like, that's not super original. But the idea of mixing it in with the sci-fi aspect and then the end plot, it's fun. And I think that I'm upset more because I needed more. I'm upset because I feel that they didn't put the correct amount of effort and backstory into this book to make it understandable. I am just questioning everything. How did they do the first letter? Why was the first letter even the reason? Like, what initiated it? What was the inciting incident to make, I think it was blue. I don't know, red. To make red write the very first letter to begin with. Was it always a plot? Was it always a plan to try to take them down? See, there's too much left hanging here, which is also probably the reason why everyone just says about the connection between the people, because that's all they can focus on and grab onto. That is the life raft. Is if you just want to read about two people connecting in a story and how they connected through these letters and their emotions for each other and how they go about it through time and how they write the letters, then that's all that's here. That's all that's here. But I need more. I need more. I am very much a character and plot. You're gonna build me a sci-fi world. I need sci-fi answers. Okay, I need sci-fi answers. And I do not think that this should be on the sci-fi bookshelf. I think that it is selling the book incorrectly. What a break, because it's still so fucking hot here. I don't even want to get into the actual writing because there was nothing about the writing that pulled me in either. No. It was too much. It was trying too hard. They were trying too hard with this book. Now, my copy from the library had book club questions in the back, and if you really want to understand how much this book was lacking anything, just if you have the questions at the back, just go through the questions and you'll sit here and you'll be like, where's the substance? Because like that's what you latched onto to discuss. Those aren't the questions I have. The questions you pose here are not the questions that I have and would be asking my book club if I read this book. This is just me reading some of these questions. I can't read them on here because it will give the story away, but I'm just like, I am holding my tongue enough. It is time to have spoilers. I need to talk about spoilers. Now make sure that if you have read this book and you want to talk to me about it, because I would love to talk to people about this book. I think that this is another example of you explain it to me, please. Am I just stupid? Can you have a conversation with me and help me to understand the point of this book? Like, this is another We Used to Live Here book. Please have a conversation with me. But if you want to have a conversation with me, either comment spoilers in the comments below or DM me on Instagram and let's talk about this book, please. Even if you just want to bitch about it with me, just let's do it, please. So, click away. I'm gonna have spoilers now. Okay, who here believed that they were in love? No, I do not understand. I do not compute the love aspect of this. Maybe this is because I'm autistic and I'm very serious, but I felt no emotions and I don't understand how they got there. I don't understand. I need to understand them as people or things or robots and their emotional complexities and their backstory to understand how in those letters they were able to reach that point. Because how I understand it is that, what is it? Whoever took the poison, I think it's actually my question. Hold on. I've got them mixed up. The fact that Blue was wanting to take the poison just to be able to read Red's last letter. That to me is a level of love that I did not grasp in this book. I did not grasp. I understand that the book went to love. When we got there, I was like, well, I guess that's no surprise, but I'm not here for it. And I didn't expect it. I was thinking that we were going to do something completely different with this, but I also knew in my head, I'm like, they're going to go to fucking love with this, even though nothing here is telling me that these two are in love. I know nothing about them. The letter writing was a lot of fun at first. I thought that it was fun. It was interesting. It was keeping me a little bit more involved into the story because I wanted to see where it was going to go next. But then it went there. It went way too far. I get that we can travel multiverses and that there's these really weird timelines, factions that exist with different things in them. But to be able to write a 5-page letter on a seed, I can't get behind that. And it was just too surreal's not the correct word. It was too out there. It was just too out there for me. Everything about this book was not written for an autistic person or me. for me. Like, nothing about this book was made for me. This book is not for me. No. Ending wasn't epic. Did anyone think that the ending was epic? The ending was not epic for me at all. To realize the flow of the timeline, that she was able to go back and influence her as a child, so then it saved her life in the future, so she didn't die of the poison, and then so that she could save her. It wasn't epic. I don't even remember. Like, did they take them down? Is that what it was? Is then they then teamed up and became a third faction to bring back down their two factions. But how were their two factions even evil? How are there two factions even evil? Are we going into free will here? What were they even trying to do anyway? Why were they trying to make sure certain things were happening? How was that influencing the future? Do you want me to carry me? Give me more answers. Why were they called red and blue? Why were they called? All I can think is like red shift, blue shift, or whatever. That like show YouTube thing. I don't know. There was something. If you know, you know. Making this review is just making me more upset because I'm angry and the anger's back. No epiphanies at the end of this one. I don't have any epiphanies. At least when I was talking about We Used to Live Here, I had things like come up and like connections made. But now I'm just mad. To the point that I want to hate read this again, see if I can figure something out, and see if it was all me, and take it slowly. Wow, why? Why do I want to read this again? Why is there a kernel inside of me that wants to read this book again? Something's wrong with me. I am in the middle of my realm of the elderlings journey. That is 16 books. Why? Why do I want to read something else? Like, reread something that I already read and I hate it. Why? Why? Who are you and why have you infiltrated my brain? This is a conspiracy. Okay? This is a conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know. Just tell me to stop. Goodness is that this is a library book and it is going back very soon, and then it will just be out of sight, out of mind until I have to edit this video, and then I'm gonna just relive it all again. Okay, I'm just gonna end there. I've waxed poetically enough. So please talk to me. Just talk to me about this book. But thank you so much, friends, for making it through my delusional rambling and my rants through this review. Please make sure to rate and review and subscribe to this channel so that you never miss an episode. And you can also help other people find the strange content as well, because clearly we all just need to live in a bubble together. Especially if you like this stuff. I don't know. Who out there exists with my taste? Who out there just thinks the way I do? Come talk to me, DM me. Let's All right, happy reading, friends. Bye.